Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching Haifa and Boston webinars for entrepreneurs. We are glad to know our videos matter. As you know, Haifa Boston Webinars Project is a free for entrepreneurs knowledge-based video project where we record professional and advisor talks. Please share this content with others and spread the word. For more videos, please join our mailing list, join discussions in our new Facebook group, and visit the website www.entrepreneurs-webinars.com. Let us mention this month's sponsors. The MISTI MIT Israel program aims to strengthen connections between the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and Israel. Its main component is a 10 to 12-week internship program for students, researchers, MBAs, and recent graduates from MIT in companies and universities in Israel. This year, MISTI MIT Israel sent over 60 students to Israel. The program can recruit students with specific skill sets and from specific fields at MIT. For Israeli companies and labs, this is a unique opportunity to get access to MIT students and information through technology transfer. Currently, MISTI MIT Israel has arrangements to enable MIT students to do 10 to 12-week internships at many labs at universities in Israel and at many companies, including Amdocs, IBM, Google, Keter, Protalix, BrightSource, Orbimed, Rambam Hospital, and many other small and medium-sized companies. Host companies provide a stipend to cover internship costs. If you are interested in exploring this opportunity to host MIT interns, please contact David Dolev at ddolev@mit.edu. Ads Boutique provides online marketing services for startups with a deep understanding of the startup's workflow and ecosystem, and with 3 years' experience in managing a product for Facebook advertising optimization. Click the logo and contact us. Beer Tech Haifa is a monthly meetup group that combines both lectures from leaders of the technological entrepreneurship industry and a networking event. The events happen on every last Monday of the month in Haifa. Join them on Facebook for updates. Invent is a co-working space for Haifa's entrepreneurs, established by the Youth Center of Haifa Municipality. Contact Nama Elul or Raout Barkan, the Technology Entrepreneurship Field Managers. If you have any comments, please share them with us. Now, with no further ado, please welcome this month's webinar.
Okay, so please let me introduce Itai Sagi. He's the founder for VC4U and Lexiphone. He's going to explain and show us in a workshop how to write investor one-pager, what's important about it, what to do and what not to do. So, hi Itai, how are you?
Good, Oded, thank you very much.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
So please, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. As Oded said, I'm Itai Sagi, co-founder of VC4U and Lexiphone. I'd like to give you a small introduction and workshop on how to create a great investor one-pager. A little bit about me. Besides founding Lexiphone and VC4U, I'm also an advisory board in several other companies such as Adventura Capital in Spain, a public advisory board member in the Israeli Export Institute, and also I'm a mentor for an accelerator, the Hive by Gvahim in Ashdod, helping entrepreneurs who made Aliyah to Israel. Previously, I was an investment analyst in ECOS in Barcelona, which is a healthcare venture capital. Founded other startups, and I also used to be a scientist at MIT in the Langer lab. I went back and forth from from Haifa to Boston actually many times as a child and as an adult. They're both my home. I went to MBA at IESE Business School in Barcelona as well, and I'm a biotech engineer. So what is an investor one-pager? In short, it's the first and maybe last thing an investor will see about your company if you don't do it right. And we'll try to explain how to write a good investor one-pager. It's supposed to clearly and concisely represent your company truthfully also, it's very important, and the investment opportunity at hand. I think the best way to understand how to make a good investor one-pager is to understand investors. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't really understand the point of view of the investor. They're not a small leprechaun sitting on a gold bucket and trying to spend it in any way they like. They too actually have investors. They're called limited partners, and they invested money in this fund according to investment criteria the fund pitched to them when they raised their fund. So they can only invest their money in certain companies that comply with their investment criteria. That I will go into the criteria a bit later, but the main ones can be geography, industry, and stage. So for example, they'll only invest in the US in companies that do only fintech, and there are later stage companies or growth companies. So you have to understand where they're coming from and what kind of companies they're looking to invest in. They're also looking to get a very good return on investment because not many startups actually make it, and they invest. If they invest in 10 companies, maybe one will make it, and they're looking to get the returns from that one company. Also, they see a lot of investor one-pagers, probably hundreds a year, if not more, and they have very little time to analyze the one-pager and get exactly the information they want from it. And if they don't see it there, they might not come back to you and ask more questions. They'll simply go to the next one. So what are they looking for? As I said, the macro criteria are geography, industry, stage, and investment. If they see immediately that you comply with these criteria and you're from the right geography, the right industry, the right stage, and you're looking to raise more or less the amount of money they're looking to invest, then they'll only then they'll look at the micro, which means what exactly do you do, the problem you solve, the business model, the go-to-market, and this entire list of other criteria. And if you comply with all of those and they like what they see, then they'll invite you to meet with them for a presentation.
Just a question, if I may. So first, geography. What do you mean when you say geography?
Which country are you from? So if it's a fund that invests in Israel, for example, then, and you're an Israeli company, that's a good thing. But if they only invest in the US, for example, or if it's an Israeli fund that only invests in Israel and you're from the US, it can be a problem.
So to make sure it's not obvious, like where the fund is gonna, it takes its ventures from.
Exactly. You have to look into it. Most likely it will be on their website. Sometimes you have Chinese funds that are located in the US and they invest in Israeli companies. So it's very complex and you have to look into it. And if they don't, then they'll most likely say no. So it will be a waste of time to send them your investment information. You're just exposing your data to irrelevant investors, and it's not helping anyone. Okay? It's also, I would take from this not to start, pitching your, a huge problem you're trying to solve if it's not relevant for the investors. Most, entrepreneurs are very happy and excited about their solution, and they think any investor would, dive into it and invest millions, but you have to first see if you fit their general criteria. Some funds might be open to invest, in anything. Those are usually the ones that have either no limited partners or, the partners themselves put all the money in the fund, in which case they can do whatever they want. But most traditional VCs have limited partners and they have their mandate to invest in certain type of companies. Okay?
Yeah.
I'll also try to review some common mistakes that entrepreneurs do when writing their investment one-pager. One, it can be unclear. I read a lot of investor one-pagers as an analyst and later on in VC4U that are simply unclear. I read the document and I don't know what the company is doing. They make it too general, mysterious, as if that would attract the investor because they're maybe afraid they'll steal their idea or I don't know what. But it has to be very clear so that the investor will know if it fits their criteria and if that's interesting for them or not. Number two is overselling. You don't want to oversell your company. It might sound like a good idea to say, you're the best and you have very good market traction when in fact you don't. And it can be dangerous because they will find out eventually when they do their due diligence with the company. So anything you tell them that's not true or exaggerated will be only to your fault. Okay? So be truthful and don't oversell. The other thing is not knowing much about the investor. So as I said earlier, you have to see if the investor fits your company, if they fit in your industry, your round size, if it's seed or round A. Some only focus on seed investments, some only on round A and B and higher. So you have to see if they match. Number 4 is underestimating the cash need. It's not a mistake for an investor on page, it's just a general mistake I think entrepreneurs do. And they think they will need $500,000 because that's enough for them, because they'll in a few months reach $1 million of sales. Usually this doesn't happen, and being over optimistic will cause you to raise more money later on and maybe at a lower valuation, and it's going to be a bit problematic. So I would raise more than you think, maybe double or triple what you think.
I just heard the same advice today from another entrepreneur.
Yeah.
He said 30%,
maybe more. Because things take longer than you expect and you need more money than you think. Okay, so take that into consideration. So when you build a nice Excel, with the hockey stick graphs, try to think and give yourself more slack and raise a bit more money. Another thing I see sometimes is that entrepreneurs say, I have no competitors. So they don't want to write about them in their one-pager because they don't have any competitors. That may sound sexy to them because they're the only company in the world doing that, but actually investors would shy away from a company that has no competitors. The reason is there might not be a market out there for your product. Even if you're innovative and you're really the first company that provides a certain solution, it doesn't mean there aren't other solutions in the market that are solving the same problem in a different way, maybe in a more conservative, old-fashioned way, but someone is doing it. For example, at Lexiphone, we were the first company doing automatic in-call interpretation, but there are human interpreters out there that have been translating conversations and calls for decades, so they are the competitors.
So it's either direct or indirect, like
exactly.
competitors.
You have to think of competitors at least to sound smart to investors. Okay, it's very important to have competitors. And also in the VC4U one-pager in the questionnaire, it's mandatory. So if you don't have any competitors, you will not be able to finish the questionnaire. And it's for your own good, trust me. Another one is not putting enough emphasis on the team. I think the team is one of the key criteria, and investors always look for a good team. And people usually just write names and maybe their degrees if they have an MBA or Bachelor of Science or engineers. I would also write a bit about why this team are a success and what makes them a good team. For example, they have experience in launching products in UI. It doesn't matter what their experience is, but you have to emphasize why this is a good team, so that they will succeed. Okay. Another thing is poor English and mistakes. It's not hard to avoid it. Give it to a friend or someone, or even pay for someone online who's a fluent English speaker to review your investor one-pager. You don't want to have poor English and mistakes in there. Another thing is a one-pager that is a 2-page or a 3-page or 4, even 6. I've seen 6-page one-pagers. So keep it to exactly one page. The investor and analyst, whoever will review your one-pager, will not have time or will to review so much data. They want to see exactly what they're looking for in that one page. And if it's not there, they're probably going to skip and go to another company. Point number 9 is very poor design. You don't have to be a designer, but it shouldn't look like a common Word document, with 0 designing it. So take a bit of time to consider your design. I'll give a bit of an intro about VC4U before we'll go into the workshop itself. So we are a free and professional tool to create investor one-pagers. You simply fill out a questionnaire, which looks like this on the left, more or less. You have 6-7 pages or something like that to fill out in a very nice interactive way. And once you finish, you press generate one pager, and on the spot you'll get a A4 PDF with a nice design with all the good information, the right information there. If it's good or not, it's up to you. You have to fill in good information, and you'll get it on the spot for free.
Is it working in Hebrew as well, or just English right now?
I think you can fill it out in Hebrew, but the titles will be in English. Always, I think it's better to write in English, because even if the investors are in Israel, sometimes they'll want to forward it to colleagues abroad, and I would stick to English. Okay. Also, I think it's a sort of a test for you. They want to see that you know English, because if you want to expand abroad,
right,
you should know English. So currently we are available in 45 countries. Well, we're available globally, but we're being used in over 45 countries. 66% of the startups that we have are actually from Israel. Most of them are raising up to $1 million, so that's seed round A type of companies. And we have over $600 million worth of investment opportunities on the system. A bit about the background of the entrepreneurs that fill in the one-pagers right now. About 70% of them are pre-revenues, which correlates more or less the same with the amount of money they're trying to raise. 30% are post-revenues. Another nice information is that most of them are also entrepreneurs that have background in entrepreneurship, so it's not their first time. Once you get the one-pager, what do you do next? What do you do with the one-pager? I would only send it to relevant investors. So I would go again to the first slides about what makes a relevant investor relevant to you, and send it only to them. Send a personal email. Don't spam 100 investors at once, and try and come with a personal angle, maybe someone you know in common. That's always ideal. It's not always possible, but it's ideal to have an intro from someone who knows both of you and can vouch for you. In the title, I would write investment opportunity for your company and write the name of the company, because they get a lot of mails that have nothing to do with investment opportunities. So you want to be upfront about why it is you're contacting them.
And not just the name of the company, of your company.
Right.
Because he won't remember it tomorrow.
Yeah, and he might not know what you want. Maybe you want to sell your services to the venture. There are a lot of service providers that are, contacting them, and not just startups. So, be clear about what it is you want them to do. Don't be too pushy, and say you should really meet with me, and it's the best thing you've ever seen. You have to meet with me. When is a good time? You have to be more polite and say, and attach the one pager, and say you'll be happy to meet if it's convenient to them, if it's relevant, and then they'll probably get back to you, assuming it is relevant. If you do schedule a meeting, be on time. That's something not many Israelis do that. So be on time. Don't bring too many people to the meeting. So if you have 5 or 6 co-founders, I would not suggest bringing all of them unless they're material to the meeting. But usually 1 or 2 is enough. Okay?
Like yourself and one
yes,
other person?
That really can contribute to the meeting.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe one technical guy, one business guy.
Not your mom or your father with you. Just
right, but also not other 5 co-founders.
Yeah.
Who might just sit there and be quiet. That's not helpful.
Okay.
Because also usually the investor will be only one person there, so you don't want to have a group of people around that one guy or girl. So now for the workshop, you can simply go to vc4u.com and sign up here. I don't know if they see the arrow or not, but you can sign up there. Then you register either with your social account, or you can just put an email and password over there. And the first page you'll see is called Current Status, and you'll simply write some general information about the company, its name, its website if you have one, how many employees, the management. And again, I would stress here to write more than just the name of the management, but write a bit more about their background and why they're a good team. You do have a character limit for everything, so it would all fit in one page. So you have to be very concise. Another question is about the track record of the entrepreneurs. Some investors want to invest only in companies that have management with previous experience as entrepreneurs. Some don't care. The top milestones of the company. This can be I launched a beta, I got some feedback, I have an initial investment, seed investment, or I have a deal with a certain company. These are your milestones.
What would you suggest to emphasize?
In which question?
In the management. How will you show management if you are a coder till now, and now you're a co-founder? So
yeah, that's fine. If there's only one person and he's a coder with zero experience, then I suggest to find another co-founder that has experience in management, and that would help you raise money, help you manage the company a bit better, I think. Or you could do it yourself. Mark Zuckerberg, was a coder, and he did very well, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So
pretty good.
Yeah. So if you're a very good programmer and I don't know, you won some awards, you created very good products before, I would write that. That's
okay. So achievements.
Yeah, achievements, and what you have to again look from the eyes of the investor. What makes you less of a risk?
Okay.
For them,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you should ease their mind as much as possible. The next one is, I think, one of the more important ones, and there's not a lot of information to fill in, but it's very key information. So the first question is, are you pre or post revenues? A lot of entrepreneurs don't write that in their one pages, and it's very important for the investor to know immediately if you're making money or not making money.
Yeah, I've met companies that had a nice turnover, and they didn't understand that this is the most relevant issue.
They assume all startups have revenues, but many don't. Many struggle with that for years. So I would immediately write if it's pre or post revenues. Some investors would screen companies, and because they only invest in post revenue companies. So we can also screen the relevant companies for investors. That's another thing I didn't emphasize. We also at the end, you'll see you can share it with investors or not. And if you choose to share with investors, then we'll show it only to relevant investors for your company. So that's another reason to fill this out and keep it updated as well. Current financing round, again, if you're seed, round A or round B. Usually, fools, family, friends, that's more or less pre-seed. And angel investors and VCs to do seed rounds at seed, it's usually, less than $1 million, 500,000 more or less. That's seed. Round A is the round after that for $1 million, 2, 3, and then the next round is round B. So these are the financing rounds. So what kind of round are you in right now? Has the company broken even? This means if you're making more money than you spend, and if you do, then you broke even. Okay, so. It has to do with the first question, but it's another question that sometimes is important, because if you did break even, then you're in better financial situation.
It means all the money goes in order to create incomes, more revenue.
Yeah, more for growth.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the next question is if it's your first round or not. So if you had previous investments in this company, not in other companies, then you will get another screen. We won't go into it now, but it will ask who are your previous investors and how much you raised then, and also if they will invest again. some of them, because it's important for the investors to know that your previous investors still believe in the company and they will invest again. And sometimes it's an investment criteria. So if they won't, then the investor will not join. Not for everyone, but for some VCs, it's an important criteria. But if it's your first round, then you'll just say it's your first round. The next question is also important. What is your use of proceeds? So what are you going to spend, if you're raising $1 million, what are you going to spend that $1 million on? So most people are very candid and they'll write salaries. I have to pay, I have to go to... And now it's obvious, you don't have to write salaries. It's already obvious. Investors don't think that you won't take a salary. I would write more about what type of activities are you going to spend that money on, if it's more on marketing efforts, R&D efforts, sales efforts. If you haven't finished, writing your patent, maybe you should write, applying for your patent application, etc. So these are the type of activities I would write, and not just salaries. Okay.
Okay. How accurate do you need to be? Just give a general direction?
Yeah, I wouldn't say 175,000 on that and 25 on that. I would just say the topics. Okay. Later down, if it's relevant, you will drill down with
no
the
amounts
investors.
at all.
It's not needed. Some people write it down, but I don't think it's needed. It's more. What is your focus right now? Is it on growth? Is it on R&D, etc.? And the next question is, how much capital are you looking to raise? How much money do you need? And you have a small slider that's from 50,000 to 5 million. If it's more than that, there's another box for other. So you just choose the amount that you want to raise. The next page is about product information. It's a longer page. You don't see everything in there on the screen, but if you go to the website, you'll scroll down and see. So first is a one-line pitch. It's a very short, one sentence. It's 150 characters about what it is you do. And I'm the Uber for dog walkers. Whatever it is you want to write, a very short sentence that immediately will showcase what it is that you do.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because again, some investors don't have time to read through and read between the lines and try and figure out what it is you do. So I would just write it there. It will appear later on right on the top of the page next to your logo. So it's very easy to see. The next question is what it is that you do. And that's a different question, from what problem you're solving or the solution. So for example, if you're a fintech startup that, exchanges Bitcoins and whatnot, then you can say I'm a marketplace for, currency exchange for Bitcoins. So that's what you do. The next thing is a problem. So that's what's wrong with the status quo.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. So the problem is, what's wrong with the market today that you're trying to solve later on. And the next one is a solution. So how you're solving this problem in a way that hasn't been done. The next question is a business model, which is how are you going to make money? Are you going to charge each user an X amount? Is it licensing? Are you going to do it by ads?
But about this one, about the business model. So usually I have more than one.
That's right. You can write all of them.
You think I should write like four different business models for?
Are these all you're going to implement at once, or these are for alternatives?
Alternatives, I guess.
So it's okay. Most startups don't really know how they're going to make money. So you can write 2-3 alternatives and then talk with the investors and see what they think. And I wouldn't appear clueless, but you have to at least know the types of models that are relevant to you. So usually if it's a social media type of thing, then it's ads. If it's a B2B type of thing, then it's licensing, etc. And then the go-to-market, which is different from the business model. It's how are you going to reach the market? Are you going to have your sales force, go door to door and try to sell the product? Are you going to do online sort of campaigns? You're going to go to events? How it is you're going to reach your end users? So you're going to go through third-party resellers and that they have their customers. So that's another point that you have to think about. The next slide is about industry. So it's what type of industry are you in? If it's biotech, if it's fintech, if it's agriculture, we have a lot of industries in there. And then the market size, so how big is your market? And this is also a question that a lot of people don't really understand. It's not your potential, revenues or how much money you could potentially make if you have 100% of your market. But it's more general than that. Like if the social media market is a $20 billion market, or fintech market is, 40 billion, then those are the numbers. It's not, just for your country, for your specific product. It's in general.
So be as wide as you can. Like right the wide market.
Yeah, it's the general market size. It's not your company's potential.
Yeah.
It's not how much money you will make, in 10 years. Okay?
Yeah. So if you sell shoes, what the shoes market in the entire world, and then you take like 0 point something percent out of it, right?
Well, right, but this is the 100% of the total market that's relevant to you,
Yes.
okay? Because some markets are small. Like if you deal with pharmaceuticals or medical devices, for example, a medical device that treats some rare disease, then there are only 10,000 people in the world that have that disease, and your product will cost
Twice the market.
So your market size will be 500 million.
It's
or
called
less.
orphaned drugs or something like that.
So in some cases your market will be very small, in some cases it will be huge. Okay?
Yeah.
The next one is about the competitors. We allow you to fill in 2 competitors here. First of all is the name of the competitor, and then differences between you and that competitor. And one is mandatory. The first competitor is mandatory, the second is not.
So we already answered how important it is to write your competitors, right?
Exactly. It's very important. And the next page is just your contact information, the name, email, LinkedIn profile. That's not actually going to be on your one pager. It's just a way for us to also verify the user and if they're a real human being, etc. Okay. Your address, phone number, and also how you heard about the service. And the next page is comparable exits. And this, it's not mandatory, but if you do have comparable companies that are similar to you that were acquired by other companies and they made a good return for their investors, I would write that here. For example, if Microsoft acquired LinkedIn and you were in the same type of social industry, then I would put that as a comparable exit. Okay? So you write the name of the acquirer, that's the company that bought the other company, the company acquired, the year they were acquired, the acquisition price, so how much they paid for the company, and then the revenues of that company when it was acquired. And we automatically convert all this data into one sentence in the one pager that says, Microsoft acquired LinkedIn for 30 billion at 10x revenues. Okay? And that's also important for investors to know if this is an active industry and if there are acquisitions and if they can, if it's a hot topic. Okay?
Yeah. Shows confidence.
It shows you did your homework and you think also from the eyes of the investors, because investors want to make their money back, right? They want a return on their investment, and the only way for that to happen is by selling your company at one point or IPOing, going to the stock market. So you have to also think about what they want. And a lot of entrepreneurs say, no one was ever acquired in my industry. That says something to investors, you know. Maybe it's not attractive for investors. It may be a valid business and you can make a lot of money from it, but if you never sell it, then the stocks in your company are never liquidated and your shareholders will never get their money back unless you have dividend policy, etc. But that's why it's
that's the exception. Yeah.
So that's why it's an important topic.
Yep.
The next one is just some graphics you can add to your one pager, you know, to make it more customizable to you. The first one is a logo on the left, and then the two on the right, you can choose one or the other as a horizontal or a vertical image of your product. It can be a screenshot, you know, if it's a website. It can be a picture of your product if it's something tangible. And the last thing here before you generate is please share my one pager with investors. And if you opt into this feature, then we will send the one pager to relevant investors. A lot of them come to us and they ask for deal flow. And they give us their criteria, and we send them a list of companies that, you know, approved for us to send their one pager. If you don't, then we won't send it, of course. Once you generate the one pager, then you will get it on the spot immediately as a PDF. If you want to edit the one pager, you simply log in again, and it will all be there. We'll save your data, and you can edit and then generate again as much as you want for free. So what you get is this free one pager here with this design, and there are other two more enhanced designs for $7 if you want. And that's it. I think I'm done.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
So first, I'm gonna leave you here because I'm gonna just going to VC4U, open my one pager. I have an idea. I wanna try and get some money for. Do you wanna try and take some questions, perhaps, like one or two questions?
Sure.
Okay. So first, you said VC4U is there for people who raise money and also pre-seed, right? Like people with only idea can approach.
Yes, we have a lot of one pagers with just one person and an idea. In many cases, it helps the entrepreneurs think about their business from another perspective. Because, you know, you think about the comparable exits, your market, your product, you know, what kind of problem you're solving. And a lot of startups don't really think about all these things at once in the beginning. And I think it's a good type of exercise for them to fill it out anyway, even if they're not looking for investment at that point. You just click that you don't want to share with investors, and it's just your own tool to think about your company.
Yeah, like to have a flow, like to organize all the information.
Exactly.
On your way to the exit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we pretty much covered everything.
Okay, very good.
Thank you very much, Itai, for lovely conversation. I'm sure everyone are now much smarter about their one pages.
I hope.
And so until next time, everyone, you're more than welcome to go to vc4u.com and try the platform, the new platform, if I may.
Yes, it's new.
It's new, right?
Yes.
Okay, and that's it. We're gonna see you in our next webinar with something different for entrepreneurs. That's it. Till the next time, all the best.
Bye.